We spend so much of our lives chasing things: a better job, a new relationship, that amazing trip. We're convinced they'll finally make us happy for good. But what if the very act of wanting, that constant chasing, is actually the source of all our unhappiness? In this explainer, we're diving into a really profound question. Is desire itself the root of all our suffering?
I mean, really think about it. You land the promotion, you buy that shiny new gadget you've been wanting, you get the praise you were hoping for, and it feels great for a minute. But that satisfaction, it's always so fleeting, isn't it? Before you know it, you're already looking for the next thing and the thing after that. So what's up with that? Why does it work that way? Well, for thousands of years, some of the wisest spiritual thinkers have offered this one powerful diagnosis for that feeling of constant restlessness. It's a really bold claim, for sure, but let's unpack what it actually means. Okay, first things first. It's so important to get that this is not some new age problem we just invented. This feeling of always chasing the horizon, of never really being at peace, that's an ancient observation about the fundamental way our minds seem to work. Now, when these ancient philosophies talk about desire, they're not just talking about a simple wish, like wanting a slice of pizza. The specific term they use is tanha, and tanha points to something way deeper. It's this persistent, gnawing craving. It's the engine inside us that's always screaming for more. More money, more recognition, more pleasure. But here's the flip side. It's also about avoidance, that desperate desire to not feel pain, to not get old, to not lose the things we have. And this endless wanting, this tanha, it leads directly to something called dukkha. Now, I know suffering sounds super dramatic, right? But dukkha isn't just about big tragedies. It's actually the low-grade stress, the chronic dissatisfaction, that constant feeling of unease that so many of us just carry around every day. It's like the background noise of a mind that is never, ever quite content. So how do these two things, this constant craving, tanha, and this background dissatisfaction, dukkha, how do they actually work together? Well, they lock us into this predictable and often totally invisible cycle. Okay, so check it out. It works like this. Step 1, a desire just pops into your head. I really want that job. Step 2 is the obvious one. If you don't get the job, you suffer. You feel sad, maybe a little angry or jealous. But then there's step 3. You actually get the job and it feels amazing for a little while. And that's when a new anxiety starts to creep in. The fear of losing it, the fear of not being good enough. And, eventually, step 4 always comes around. You retire, you get laid off, you move on. The suffering just comes right back. It's a perfect loop, where even winning is just a temporary pit stop on the way to more anxiety. Right about now, you might be thinking, okay, that's some really old philosophy. What does it have to do with my life, here, today? Well, it turns out this ancient cycle is basically on steroids in our modern digital world. I mean, think about it. That ancient idea of Tanya is literally everywhere. The desire for approval, that's now an endless, exhausting hunt for likes on social media. The desire for a better life, that becomes a constant, painful comparison to the perfectly filtered lives we see on Instagram. We're chasing career success nonstop. We feel this insane pressure for a perfect relationship, and we live with a chronic fear of missing out, or FOMO. All of this creates exactly what those old texts warned us about: mental stress, deep anxiety, and a profound feeling of emptiness. Okay. I know this all sounds a bit bleak. Are we just doomed to this cycle forever? No, not at all. The goal isn't to become some kind of passionless robot who enjoys nothing. The solution is actually much more subtle and honestly a lot more empowering. It's about finding what's called the middle path. And this, right here, is the crucial point. This is the whole pivot of the philosophy. It doesn't ask you to give up joy or to deny yourself pleasure. The entire practice hinges on one transformative idea. You don't have to crush desire. You just have to understand it. You just have to see it clearly for what it is. So this gives us two totally different ways to live. On one side, we can be a slave to our desires, just blindly chasing every craving, totally controlled by fear and wanting. And we already know where that road leads: stress and emptiness. But there's another path, the path of understanding. This is where you can observe your cravings without getting yanked around by them. You can notice the thought, I really need more likes, without letting it ruin your entire day. And that is what leads to a sense of calm, of freedom, and what the philosophy calls a light heart.
So, how do we actually walk this path? I mean, what are the practical tools? Well, the ones suggested are mindfulness and detachment. Mindfulness is simply the practice of paying attention to your thoughts and feelings as they come and go without judging them. And detachment is the ability to let those thoughts go without getting hooked. It's seeing the desire pop up, saying, there you are, and then choosing not to be controlled by it.
To bring this all together and really wrap our heads around it, there's a powerful metaphor that just perfectly captures this entire concept. It frames desire not as an enemy we have to destroy, but as a fire, an energy source that we can choose how to manage.
Just think about that for a second. If you keep throwing logs on the fire of craving, more validation, more stuff, more success, it's going to grow out of control, and eventually it's going to burn you with stress and anxiety. But if you simply watch the fire, if you understand its nature, and you don't feed it unnecessarily, you can actually enjoy its warmth and light without getting hurt. You can live right alongside it in peace. And that, of course, brings it all right back to you. We all have this fire inside of us. The cycle of suffering is fueled by blindly feeding it every time it roars. But peace is found in understanding it. So the choice, really, every single day is yours. What fire are you going to feed?